So today I'm going to be doing a well overdue book haul. I think I meant to do this book haul like a month ago now, but I thought I would still share it just to get your guys' opinions on the books I picked up and whether you have read them yourself and if they are good or not. So starting with two books that I picked up just a few days ago. The first one being Leia, Princess of Alderaan. And I am so excited to read this book. I have to say, the cover is fantastic, and if I do say so myself, it looks pretty good naked. Princess of Alderaan is by Claudia Gray, and she's written a lot of stuff, but one of them was Star Wars Lost Stars, and that was a fantastic book. She also wrote Star Wars Bloodline, which I haven't read yet, and Bloodline is also about Princess Leia, but I think in that one she's a bit older, I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna start with this book, because in this book, Princess Leia is 16 years old, and this book is basically about all of the challenges she has to go through to be officially named the heir of the Alderaan throne. But while she's doing these challenges, she starts to realize that her parents are seeming a bit more odd. So she kind of follows them and tries to figure out what's going on with her parents. So she kind of starts to get wrapped up in leading Alderaan and also joining this rebellion. I'm really excited to read this book, and apparently it has some hints towards the Last Jedi movie that's coming out. Next, I picked up The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I have heard so many great things about this series. It's being compared to The Wheel of Time, which I have just started reading, and I am just so excited to read this book. It's been getting like rave reviews, and I think the second book just came out fairly recently. And for big fantasy books like this, I don't really like to look too much into the story, but I do know some things. I do know that this book is taking place 20 years after this race called the Augurs. I think it's called Augurs. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but this race of people that had kind of like godlike powers, and they were overthrown and killed, but there was people left behind that served them named the Gifted, and basically they had to succumb to this act that the rebellion made to basically limit their powers, and I believe the main protagonist is supposed to be one of these Gifted. And then obviously a big fantasy book like this, it has multiple characters, so there's some other dude who like lost his memory, and then it says, in the far north an ancient enemy begins to stir. So it definitely sounds really exciting. I love big, epic fantasy books like this. So then a while ago, I picked up The Slower Guard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. This is either like book 0.5 or book 1.5 of the Kingkiller Chronicles, so you kind of have to know that story to know what's going on here. This book takes place from the perspective of a character named Ori, who is one of my favorite characters in the book, but this isn't like a necessary point of the book. It doesn't have the main plot in it at all. It's just kind of a separate thing for extra information, and it's got some cute little illustrations in it. Then I picked up The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Volume 1 by Akira Himikawa, and this is obviously based off of the Twilight Princess video game. I don't really know what to say about the storyline, but it's The Legend of Zelda, and it's a great game, so I'm kind of excited to read this manga. And then I ordered book 1 of the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson and book 3 of the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I did order the second one, and I ordered it in like June, so I think I'm going to have to talk to Book Depository because it still hasn't arrived yet. And if you don't know, I am hosting a read-along for the Mistborn series. It's going a little bit slowly, but if you want to join, we just started the second book. And since the second book in the UK cover hasn't arrived for me yet, I've been using the US cover, which just isn't as pretty. It'll have to do. I also picked up The Children of Hurin by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I got this at a garage sale for $3, which was a total deal. And I also picked up Mark of the Plague by Kevin Sands. This is book 2 of the Blackthorn Key series. I think that's the name of the series. That was one of the first books I reviewed on my channel, and it's taken me this long to get the sequel, but I am going to do a review of this as well once I read it. And yeah, it's been a long time since I've read this book. I just remember it had like alchemy, and it's kind of like a historical fiction, I guess. Bonus, I have some textbooks to share, because textbooks are exciting. So this semester I'm taking 2 more college classes, and the first textbook that I have is for 19th century European art, because I'm taking a 19th century European art history class. And basically the artwork has a lot of nudity and death in it, so I feel like the people in the 19th century probably would have liked Game of Thrones. I'm also taking a survey of English literature class, and for that I need this dictionary of literary terms and literary theories. It's pretty exciting. And then for that same class, I have a book that's more exciting. This is the Norton Anthology of English Literature, and this has stories from the Middle Ages to the Restoration, up into the 18th century. Over the last 2 days, I read the original Beowulf poem, and that I really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to read Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. They also had the Canterbury Tales in here, which I haven't read. It also has some Edmund Spenser and some William Shakespeare, and it just has a lot of really cool, interesting things. So these classes I'm actually kind of excited for. So those are the books that I picked up for this book haul. Let me know if you've read any of them, and let me know your opinion on them. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and also you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I will link those below, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.